It's a curious thought, and it's also a dark one, because we think we've come so far as a society, but really we're just like our ancestors. Only instead of nooses, we use texts, and instead of gunshots, we use verbal assaults. I mean, it does the job. I mean, at least their hands don't get bloodied. Ours do.
Even after they got transferred out of my classes and blocked off of my social media accounts, they still would find ways to terrorize me. And
I had social anxiety, so I wasn't good with people. Something that did happen was my parents took me to therapy because when I was 8 or 9 years old, I told my mom I wanted to kill myself.
I went through a phase of being obsessed with my weight because of all the bullying that I had went through in middle school. And it's not like I was even heavy in middle school. It was just the fact that people feel the need that they have to have somebody to pick on.
You said there's this group of people who were tired of playing with you. So as a solution, they decided to drown you.
Yes.
My daughter asked me, "Can you go with me to the pool tomorrow?" I said, "Why do I need to go with you to the pool tomorrow?" She said, "There's 5 girls planning to drown me in the pool tomorrow if you don't come." To coax her to play with them and then get her to the deep end, and then they were all gonna jump on her and drown her just so they never had to play with her again.
Now, when I first heard this, I was shocked and I was appalled.
Her, at 10 years old, go to a camp and have 5 young children at the age of 9 years old plot to drown my daughter in a public pool, and to watch the pain in her face of not belonging and being rejected because she was always a ministry project and she never could belong or have friends or have a family.
I have a joint disorder, so until I started getting issues with that, 6th grade wasn't as bad. It kind of started, and I was on crutches or limp, and people started calling me gimpy and cripple. I got diagnosed on the last day of school with juvenile idiopathic arthritis.
When my bullying first started was in 7th grade. I was known as the Antichrist because my father was a Satanist and he was part of the Vice Lords. Some of the rival gang members went to my school and they did not like me, seeing how I was a Vice Lord's son.
I ended up with, at the beginning of high school, with a severe eating disorder. I did a lot of binging and purging, and I would go actually whole entire weeks without eating, just drinking water.
So I was stabbed. I was stabbed right here and right there. That took a toll on me. No one liked me. I was going through a lot of things. My life has not been the greatest, and the people in my life have not always been the greatest. In fact, my friends, who I thought were my best friends, actually bullied me too. They ostracized me, and they joined into the chant of calling me the Antichrist son.
My mom started noticing a pattern in me. My hair started getting very, very gross and straggly, and my complexion fell completely. I was white all the time because I was so malnourished. And she actually, one time it got so bad that I had to go to the hospital because I was dehydrated and completely famished. And
I tried suicide 3-4 times. Took ibuprofen, and then what I would do before the numbing agents took effect was I would boom, 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 as deep as I could. It'd almost be like a game. You stop being angry after a while, and you just feel numb. And you just feel like mentally you don't exist. You know, they say therapy is supposed to help, but even inside there, I felt lonely, and I felt isolated. So I made the plans. I had the belts. I had the ceiling fan in my house picked out. Boom, done.
The 7th grade was the worst year for me. I was on crutches for 3 months, and I was just in constant pain. No matter what I did, it just hurt to move and to walk, and my body felt like it would shut down, and I would miss class. And I had a couple friends at my table, and they kicked me out and made me go sit with a random group because I wasn't there enough. People around the school started calling me cripple and gimpy regularly, and it kind of started affecting me. I kind of played along with it. I was just like, yeah, fun nickname, but physically painful and emotionally painful for me, and people made a joke out of it.
And I'm just thankful that the plan didn't succeed. But as a parent, the pain is still there because the pain succeeds past that moment. And with bullying, it reaches out into the future and it grabs you when you least expect it.
It was just getting to the point where I could barely get out of bed in the morning. Just not only because of my disorder, but because I was just so emotionally hurt with it. And I didn't tell my parents. I remember crying every night and just screaming and crying at the stupidest things. Slowly started figuring out that it didn't matter. But it still hurt what those people said, but I realized that I could get over it and that it didn't actually affect me.
I'm healthy now, and I got through it, and that's the most important part, and it has honestly made me such a strong human being.
Wow. And despite all that, you're still here, you're still fighting, you still have this dream of becoming a pastor. And it seems for now things are looking up for you.
And she's gentle and she's tenderhearted and she's a fighter and she's a warrior.
There's life. There's life outside of their taunts, and their taunts are empty at that. You'll find that their taunts are very uncreative, depending on the person you're dealing with. Although it is very hard, you cannot let them control your life. You cannot let them in control of why you exist and why you matter, because what they say isn't true. Although their words may be persuasive, and although their words may be cruel, they couldn't be further from the truth.